Right now in the eastern Pacific, we have our fifth named storm expected to become a hurricane and another area right behind it. In the Atlantic, we got two areas to watch, and in the western Pacific, we have some areas in a long range. We also have this little area which shouldn't really develop. So let's get into every single system real quick. For general things said, the National Hurricane Center expects Elida to become a hurricane and generally move off to the north and west, well away from any sort of land. I think Cat 2 is a potential. This area developing behind it has a 90% chance in the next 7 days and 20% in the next 2. And this system out here in the Central Pacific has actually lowered the chances, and now it's only at a 30% instead of a 40% since yesterday. In the Atlantic, we're still watching the same situation. Nothing has changed. I do want to look closely at the history of satellite imagery for Elida. Look at where it was. It was looking really solid, and it lost all of its convection. But now, it has really intensified and grown in size, until recently where it has actually lost a little bit of its convection, but we're already seeing another flare-up right there near the center. And like the forecast, Elida is supposed to head out to sea, and behind it we're going to watch another storm. This is one of my favorite models, the European AI model, which shows this one making it to the northwest in general, and then a high pressure sets in, extra strong, behind Elida, and it shifts this guy straight west. Here's another situation from our other AI model. This is the AI GFS model. And this one is showing a similar situation outside of it doesn't get pushed as far south and doesn't make it quite as strong. Now, a brief touch up on the Atlantic. There have been some changes with this one by the coast. I know I said there hasn't been any changes. Well, the NHC hasn't really changed anything. What has changed is a little bit on where we're expecting, if this storm develops, where it could form and where it could go in the North Gulf. So, here we are. We are 12Z run July 16th with our Euro AI model, and we're seeing this dip down into the Gulf over the weekend. This is Sunday. This could be our potential development day, maybe Monday, and it seems to just linger in the Gulf and potentially bring more moisture further west than originally expected. As well, the Euro model is also showing a similar situation where the moisture just hangs out. It doesn't actually really consolidate everything, as everything is still over land. I would say this change in the forecast is definitely a little more worrying, but not too worrying. Also, other area we're going to watch is this little area dipping down in the mid-Atlantic. We could maybe see something try to spin up off of that. The GFS is definitely showing something spin up, but there's no need to show that at the moment. Now, I do want to talk about a little bit more on the long-range forecast for the Western Pacific today, as I haven't really touched up in detail on it. Here's our European model, and as you can see, there's nothing really developing. The GFS wants to spin up this area to the southeast of our Mariana Islands here, but the European not really showing much. Neither are any of the other models at this point. But the area it's generally showing is this area that might actually develop a little further to the west, which is what the European and most of the AI models are showing. And we're expected this one to head toward the northern Philippines, over toward China, or as the European shows, Taiwan. And there's also another chance of something developing way out here. And a lot of models are actually picking up on this one too. But right now, nothing too worrying for land with that one. So our main area to watch is definitely this one here. Here's another take. Here is our most reliable deterministic model, the ECAIFS, which does show this one going over southern Luzon. And this is the most southern one, by the way. The most southern model so far. And it shows it going over toward Vietnam. And then we're watching another area maybe out there. And again, showing this other area forming beyond a 10-day range. And one more model I do want to show real quick. The AIGFS again, which does develop this thing basically right in between the other two. But it does not really pick up on much out here, just a little low pressure area, and a lot later. Still showing maybe something to the southeast of Hawaii. Southwest, I mean, not southeast. Now, with this Google Weather Lab AI model, I do want to touch up on the intensity forecast for Elida. And we are seeing any potential up to a Category 5. We do have one ensemble member for each a Cat 4 and a Cat 5. Though, in reasonable standards, I think Cat 3 is going to be the highest here that this storm could get. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if it does. But I think a Cat 2 is more certain than that. And if it somehow has a lot of dry air or wind shear with it, it could stay that Category 1 status. But it's almost guaranteed to become a hurricane. Tropical storm chance is like below 5%. Like staying a tropical storm, I mean. Now, picking up on the area behind it, it is still a very interesting area to watch. It's going to develop maybe just to the southeast of where Elida has just developed. And this storm, still uncertain on intensity, but the the Google Weather Lab model wants to bring it, at least a lot of the ensembles want to bring this guy straight west, just like the Google AI model, I'm getting confused, guys, I'm sorry, just like the European AI model, and as you can see, a lot of these do take it in the direction of Hawaii. Right now, a direct hit on Hawaii is very unlikely, but there is the chance for it to pass just to the south or just to the north, alright? And it's likely to be at a lower intensity, not a high intensity. If it stays at a high intensity, it's likely to stay to the south. And behind this, we are going to see maybe a third signal. I do want to touch up over here in the Atlantic again. This gives you a better picture on where we're trying to see this weekend system develop. Sunday, Monday is going to be our development time period, and we only have a couple ensembles picking up on this. And if it does get into the Gulf, it's likely to stay into the Gulf. And meaning that we could potentially get a stronger storm, which a lot of these ensembles are showing, and a general stalling out or moving westward could be likely. Here's the last run, just to show you real quick. Again, it was basically showing less than what we were showing now. We're still looking at this area that might come down from here in the central Atlantic. There are a couple ensemble members that are picking up on it, but right now there's a low chance of development. And there's still no development on the ensembles with this one out here. And in this storm in the Central Pacific, it doesn't even pick up on any development out there. And now moving on to the Western Pacific, where we still have a lot of long-range stuff. And this is where I get a lot of my confidence from, as it is ensembles, and we do figure out the general direction of where this storm could be headed. And again, most of the ensembles take it maybe over Luzon, maybe over toward Taiwan, but in the direction of maybe northern Vietnam or China after that. And again, the GFS is probably overly confident on this thing developing early, which is most likely not going to happen. Now, here is another signal that I wanted to talk about, and it's something developing to the southwest of Hawaii, maybe as our F storm in the East Pac could be threatening Hawaii over here. And this one, like I said earlier, it's less likely to impact land. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. I will see you Over the weekend, it might be a little less, but I will see you definitely daily next week.